It seems that we've got quite a bit of risk aversion coming back into play. We've got a stronger yen this morning, a weaker dollar, and of course, mixed bag of data coming through from the US. What are you reading into this news?
I think that what we're seeing is the conflict between, on the one hand, huge creation of liquidity, on the other hand, the real economy still being very weak and struggling quite a bit. So what you're seeing is a lot of liquidity chasing asset prices higher, but the underlying profitability that needs to support that those higher prices not really coming through at this stage.
Well, you mentioned quite a lot of liquidity at this stage. Taking a look at the levels that we're seeing at the dollar right now, do you think that the US government is trying to weaken the dollar further?
I believe that they're trying to push up all asset prices against the dollar, meaning also foreign currencies. So betting on a strong dollar at this point would probably be folly, because as we move into the recovery, it looks like the US is much more determined than other countries to really maintain a huge amount of liquidity going into the market. Also, part of what they said at the G20 is we will not remove stimulation from our economy too quickly. So lots of liquidity coming through. That will weaken the dollar against commodities, but also against other currencies, but it also means asset prices are likely to rise.
At what level do you suspect the dollar will go to?
I believe that we're going to probably see around the 160 level against the euro, and we might see 90 yen sustained for quite a while against the dollar.
Those are quite weak levels. Taking a look at the commodity play right now, because we have seen gold breach that $1,000 an ounce level. It hit $1,023 an ounce, I think about a week ago, but now we've breached that $1,000 an ounce, and we're well below that at this stage. Again, it's all about the dollar play, isn't it?
It is, but what you're likely to see is gold actually becoming quite a bit more expensive as the dollar weakens. What we have seen, though, is with the increased tensions with Iran, you would have thought that gold would have reacted slightly differently. And investors actually, sometimes when there's political tension, they actually do run to the dollar a little bit. They've run to the yen this time. They've not actually followed gold. But still, as we see liquidity rising, we should see gold also staying above the $1,000 sustainably over the next year or so.
Well, you mentioned that we could see a weak dollar of between 150 and 160 to the euro. Taking a look at gold, what is that going to do to the gold price? I mean, you mentioned it's going to be over $1,000 an ounce. Is it going to be at 1,100? Because I've even heard 1,200 being thrown around.
I think somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200 is probably the level that we're likely to see. If we're seeing levels of around the 160 against the euro, that means pretty much a stable euro price for gold, but significantly more in dollar terms.
Wikus, what is it going to do to other commodity prices? Because we've also seen oil hovering around $70 a barrel, but obviously speculation is still a big issue for oil.
Speculation is a big issue, but what seems to be lacking there at the moment is there's no real strong demand coming through for oil from oil consumption. So consumption is still weak. So what we're seeing in the real economy is, even though markets have become a lot more optimistic, we actually right about at the bottom of the economic cycle for the real economy. So we haven't really seen strong demand coming through for commodities like oil. We've seen some let's say, return to normality from what we were seeing 6 months ago, but no real strong follow-through demand, and that's why oil doesn't seem to be able to break through the kind of $70, $75 level.
The rand has been benefiting from a significantly weaker dollar. How long do you think that will last for? And I mean, if you are then again expecting a significantly weaker dollar, does that translate into rand strength?
It does actually, because it seems like the rand is going to be the currency with some interest differential for a while, and in fact our current account is coming back into nice balance, because demand in the South African economy has not been strong. So a weaker rand probably only when we see strong South African demand coming through, and that's probably not until the end of next year.
When you say a stronger rand, I mean, I've also, again, this is also about speculation. I've been hearing about 650, others say we could just stay around 720. And obviously this is going to impact our exporters quite significantly. And obviously our resource companies are not going to enjoy a significantly stronger rand.
I think we're already in the situation where our manufacturing companies and our tourism industry is taking serious strain because of the too strong rand. It's already too strong on a long-term view as it is now. But all the short-term factors still point to a stronger rand. So, and there's no indication that the new regime at the Reserve Bank or at the Treasury is more inclined to intervene in the currency market. So Who knows how strong the rand can become? It always surprises in terms of how extreme the movements are. So certainly 650 not out of reach, but I would say anything stronger than 750 is already too strong.
This week, we've got the MTN Bharti negotiations. We should be hearing something on Wednesday. We've also got the trade balance, we've got money supply, and we've got consumer confidence. Do you think these are going to be market moving with regards to the rand?
If we get a big surprise on any of these, I think the market is already factoring in an MTN Bharti deal, so I don't think there's huge movement in the market unless it's announced that we're not seeing a deal. I think that could weaken the rand. And I think that most of the others, unless we see a big surprise on inflation lower than expected, which might push interest rates lower, I don't think it will move the rand much.